Welcome to Section 4, Part 3 of PRINCE2 training program for your certification. This section is about the risk theme. Projects are subject to uncertainty. The risk theme focuses on handling uncertainty in a project, which can impact project objectives like time, cost, and other targets. The purpose of the risk theme is to identify, assess, and control uncertainty, and as a result, improve the ability of the project to succeed. Because risks can seriously impact a project, risks have to be clearly understood, and actions must be taken to reduce the risks or totally remove the risks. What is a risk? An uncertain event or set of events that, should it occur, will have an effect on the achievement of objectives. As an example, there could be an increase in price of labor or raw materials during the course of the project. If this is assessed and identified early, then certain actions may be taken to procure materials early before the prices increase. A risk is measured by a combination of the probability of a perceived threat or opportunity occurring and the magnitude of its impact on the objectives. Every risk has mainly two characteristics, its probability and its impact, meaning how likely is the risk to occur and what is the impact if it occurs. So it could be something like there is a very less chance of it occurring or a very high chance of it occurring. It is possible that even a risk which has a very low probability of occurring may have a high impact. On the other hand, a risk which has a high probability of occurring may have a very low impact. Risk management, therefore, is the systematic application of principles, approaches, and processes for identifying and assessing risk, planning, meaning the response planning, and implementing risk responses. And finally, communicating risk management activities with stakeholders, which means some kind of risk reporting should be done on an ongoing basis. The project will have to adopt the risk management system of the organization or of the program in case part of a program. Because risk management happens in projects and operations, generally organizations create their own approach to risk management. Therefore, every project in the organization will have to abide by the overall risk management guideline or framework of that organization. Risk attitude. How much risk the organization is willing to bear. Some organizations may want to take high risk in anticipation of a good reward from the project, even though they may have a risk of losing a lot of investment. On the other hand, some organizations may not want to take much risk. Therefore, they may not be ready to do a project unless they are sure that they will reap the rewards of executing that project. Some other terms to be known for the exam. Risk budget. This is a sum of money to fund specific management responses to the project. Threats and opportunities, meaning some actions have to be taken to reduce the risks or remove the risks, or to, in case if it's an opportunity, then the opportunity has to be captured or exploited, or may have to be improved or enhanced. Therefore, some money is required for the people who will be taking the actions for the risks. That is known as a risk budget. Therefore, we see here, for example, to cover the costs of any contingent plans when a risk occurs. A contingent plan is a plan which is triggered or an action which is triggered based on some warning sign. For example, if there is a smoke, then maybe it's a sign that there could be a fire soon. Similarly, in projects, if there is some lack of productivity, it may indicate a lack of motivation, which could lead to delay in a project. So it's important that the project management members identify some warning signs or symptoms also by which certain contingent actions can be taken whenever those warning signs or symptoms exceed a particular level. As for example, as long as a material price increase doesn't go beyond 10% of its original value, no action may be necessary because then it is not perceived as a risk to the organization. But as soon as it is going to hit the 10% increase mark, then the organization may take actions to prevent it from going above 10%, meaning by procuring the items early before the price goes above 10% of the original price. It should also factor unknown risks. Therefore, the risk budget should also account for risks which have not been identified and logged in the risk register. For example, a sudden disaster or some kind of a flooding or a new disease which is impacting people and those things. That should require some additional budgets as well. The risk register and risk management approach are created during the initiating a project process. This process, as we know by now briefly, is where the detailed planning is done. Therefore, along with the detailed planning, all these registers are also created and all the management approaches are also created. Therefore, risk register, quality register, issue register, as well as risk management approach, quality management approach, communications management approach, and change control approach, and the benefits management approach, all of them are created in the initiating a project process. And some of these documents become part of the project initiation document or PID. The risk management approach should be reviewed and may have to be updated at the end of each management stage. The risk management approach will define how and when the risk register is reviewed and updated. In general, any management approach will describe how that aspect will be managed. Therefore, risk management approach will describe how risks will be identified, how they will be analyzed, what is the overall strategy for responding to risks, and any techniques which may be used, for example, simulation or expected monetary value management. Those topics are not as part of the syllabus. However, those are the methods available in the industry, and they may be described in the risk management approach. Also, there could be indications of certain target levels of risks, and of course, the risk budget in the risk management approach. PRINCE2 does not prescribe any specific risk management approach, but the approach should meet minimum requirements of the theme. Therefore, even though there is a structure or a template for a risk management approach and other approaches within PRINCE2 and other documents within PRINCE2, PRINCE2 does not mandate that that structure should be followed. It could be anything else which is sufficient enough for the organization. Let us look at a sample management approach structure. In the manual, you will see detailed explanations of each of these approaches, but this is the general structure of any management approach in PRINCE2, namely communications, risk, quality, change control, and benefits management. Benefits management has a slightly different structure. The others have this structure. What are the roles and responsibilities for, in this case, the risk theme? What are the processes and procedures for the risk theme? What are the tools, techniques, and methods used? What are the timing of related risk management activities? For example, when will the analysis be done? When will risk audits be done? What are the formats for the risk register and the risk report? And what are the reporting aspects? What will be included in the report? And maybe there could be other sections in these management approaches. Time to reflect on the learnings for a while.